And welcome once again to Flashpoints. I'm Bob Orr, joined by Juan Zarate, our national security analyst. Juan, good to see you.
Bob, great to see you.
Tsarnaev, the Boston bombing suspect, was in court for his first appearance. This kind of brings the case back to the fore. Where do we stand here?
Well, what you see is the government now moving forward with its case. It has brought the indictment. It now is bringing the charges in open court. The question here, and Bob, you've done phenomenal reporting on this, and so you know this just as well, if not better than I. The key point here now is, can the U.S. government, and the FBI in particular, use this stage of the process to actually gather more information that they may want to see, may not know about, and to seek the kind of cooperation that he may not have given to date. Not just him, but maybe those around him who have not been as cooperative as possible. And so this is a sort of an interesting moment because, as you said, it brings the case back to the public mind, but it also is a strategic moment for the investigation itself.
Now, Tsarnaev has a team of attorneys, public defenders, who are strong anti-death penalty advocates. One has to suppose that one of their primary missions is to try to get the death penalty off the table.
That's right. I mean, he's being charged with a fairly solid case, 30 charges in total, facing the death penalty in a number of those charges. That's a point of leverage. It's a point of negotiation. And no doubt defense counsel will try to use information or other things at their command to try to take that off the table. On the other side, the prosecutors know that it's a major chip that they have to wield here, and they're willing to give it away for something of value.
They have to get something. This is a slam dunk case.
That's right.
I mean, you have him in video, you have him with the bag, there are witnesses. He made incriminating statements before he was Mirandized.
That's right.
He wrote a screed on the boat.
Yeah.
So this isn't a question of can you prosecute the guy.
That's right. I mean, this is as solid a case as you can imagine with the evidence that the U.S. government can bring to bear. I think the question is there more information the U.S. government is hunting for or searching for, not just in terms of this particular case, but in terms of the network around the Tsarnaevs? That's been a big issue for the intelligence community, for the law enforcement community. What was happening in Russia? With whom were they dealing? Were there others potentially involved? All those questions are still swirling and aren't fully answered. And so if there is some further indication that can be had, that's something the prosecutors may be willing to deal for.
And it might be your last best chance to get that, because so far, from what I understand, turning over every rock, they don't find a wider conspiracy, more collaborators, an international connection that's legitimate.
Right. And there may not be. And if at the end of the day there isn't, what the prosecutors will weigh is, well, what are we getting for this? And it may not be worth it to take the death penalty off the table. Now, there's the broader policy question that will rise to the level of the Attorney General and perhaps even the President himself as to whether or not you pursue the death penalty in this kind of a case. What's the symbolism around that? What does it say about American justice? And how is it viewed by those around the world, for example, European partners who don't apply the death penalty and don't like it? And so there's a political diplomatic dimension to this as well that you have to keep in mind.
So the next big thing to watch here is what kind of deal, if there is going to be a deal.
Yeah, see what kind of deal is and see if there are more shreds of information, which no doubt you'll report on, Bob, that come out of some of those discussions between the lawyers.
All right, very interesting. What's the case we'll keep an eye on?
Great.
Well, thanks as always.
Thank you, Bob.
And thanks to you for watching Flashpoints. I'm Bob Orr. We'll see you next time.